If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast at BeBullish.com with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy. Download and subscribe at BeBullish.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations.
Sunday morning. With us today, like every Sunday, we have Governor David Paterson to talk about our city, our state, our country. Well, Governor Paterson, I mean, there's so many things going on. Where do you want to start this morning?
Well, I want to start with a long tradition of service by the Jewish community in this country, in this state, in this city. And they've always been in the forefront of great movements, particularly the one with Dr. Martin Luther King and that kind of thing. I thought the Jewish community pushed David Dinkins over in the 1989 mayoral election, who defeated Rudolph Giuliani. And Giuliani came back and won 4 years later. But there's always been this feeling of service. And I've been the recipient of it because I was in a lot of programs for the blind. And the people who work there, usually an extraordinary number of Jewish people who wanted to work helping people who had disabilities. Now, leaving that, 1 out of every 3 Jewish voters in last week's mayoral election were for Zoran Mamdani. Now, I'm not telling anyone who they should and shouldn't vote for. What I'm just saying is I'm surprised
why don't you say the word shocked?
Shocked.
Because I was shocked when you said it to me.
Yes, like sticking your finger in a wall socket. I am shocked that he got 33% of the Jewish vote. And the reason I'm shocked is that I'm trying to figure out what was the issue that he was talking about. I would assume that a lot of these voters were younger. I would assume that they, just kind of jump on the bandwagon whenever there's any kind of dissent. But this could really be a problem moving forward in this situation. I'm not blaming anybody for the fact that the mayor-elect won. I'm just saying that I find it's hard to understand how this happened.
Well, there's, a lot of things came close. I think I still don't understand, and I know Curtis is after both of us, but I still don't understand why he was beating up on Cuomo versus beating up on Mamdani, who was the clear and present danger.
I don't know why he did that, but I'll tell you, I think Curtis needs to see somebody because on the when he was interviewed, he said that we couldn't add 41 and 7 and not realize that even if he had gotten out, that there was no chance for Cuomo to win. I never said that. And I challenged Curtis to find the recording of me ever saying that. So while he's looking for that, let's get back to reality. And I think that one piece of very good news is that Dean Houlihan, who was the budget director for the Speaker of the New York State Assembly, the late Sheldon Silver, and was widely acclaimed for how well he worked with the legislators and how he could get them to negotiate. He is going to be the first deputy mayor for Mr. Mamdani. So it's good to see that a person with such little experience had the wisdom to get somebody with a lot of experience, and that might mitigate some of the damage that we fear.
Well, I agree. If you know him, but at the end of the day, the boss is the boss, and he's going to want to do whatever he wants to do, regardless of what these people recommend.
Right. Well, I think that when Houlihan was in Albany, he really understood that, and rarely did he get into any confrontations with the speaker, or if he did, we never really knew about him. He's the real deal, John. He's that good.
All right, I look forward. Anything else you can give us the pulse on the situation? Do you think he's going to take the commissioner of the NYPD, and will he be the de facto commissioner and do whatever he wants?
I think that he's going to leave her there in the beginning. I think he does recognize what a good job she's done heading a few different agencies, how she herself could be the mayor. And I think he'll leave it alone for a while. And I think she will give him a chance. And they'll see, 6 to 9 months, maybe even shorter, if they can work together. And if they can work together, that's going to be a real plus for the new mayor.
Understood. And tell us now, the other thing that I've talked to Judge Weinberg about is the ability of the mayor to appoint a lot of judges. And if he appoints judges that are going to leave everybody in the streets, all the criminals in the streets, that's going to be dangerous.
Well, the way you would know is when you have very controversial rulings by a number of judges. And when that happens, the finger is going to be pointed directly at him. When you pick judges, and I picked some judges when I was governor, what we saw it as, it was an academic pursuit. It wasn't, who voted for who or who's been supporting what. We tried to take the people that really understood what was going on, and I even had to pick a new chief judge, and all of those judges performed admirably. But if you're just doing it based on who's your friend and some of the stuff that not only would Mayor Mondani be guilty of, but even there have been some appointments on the higher levels of the administration in Washington where it seemed more it was the relationship between the people. Nothing's gone wrong because of that so far, but it's something to keep an eye on. Judge Weinberg is right. This is not about who's your best friend. This is about who has performed most admirably to anoint themselves into that position.
Now, the upheaval in the entire Democratic Party, are you digesting it, or are you able to talk about it?
Well, the Democratic Party, has always had a lot of controversy. We've always had different groups in the party and, different types of struggles. But I do think that the party has been pulled a little bit to the left. But at the same time, I think that there are some up-and-coming leaders in the Democratic Party who I think could prevail on the vast number of Democrats, that you just can't be against everything all the time. And I think if we can get past that, then we can be far more competitive with our friends over on the other side of the aisle than we've been most recently.
Is there anybody in the common sense Democrats that have the courage to stand up against the socialists? Because they've made it plain they want to take over the entire Democratic Party.
I think that if the new mayor tries to put into practice some of the issues that he campaigned on, he's going to find some significant resistance. But if he balances it, perhaps he can keep the party together. But that's going to be really more of a question for him than other Democrats, because there isn't, I don't think there's an appetite for the extremist type of conduct that he has endorsed from time to time. I'm not saying that he did it, but he seemed to be appeasing people who did, and that's not going to bring us to a very good conclusion at all.
Well, Governor David Paterson, thank you for your input, and well, let's catch up again real soon. And I hope,
John, hopefully by next week we will both get our hands out of the wall socket.
I agree. My hair is already sticking up.
If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast at BeBullish.com with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy. Download and subscribe at BeBullish.com.